The emotional black hole. 4 steps to process unspoken grief and transform trauma. That constant exhaustion? It's an emotional black hole draining your life. Unspoken grief is the cause. Learn the 4 Zen steps to heal trauma. Watch now. Part 1. The Invisible Weight. Welcome to Echoes of Life. Take a moment to scan your body. Not for physical pain, but for the weight you are carrying that has no name. There is a specific kind of exhaustion that sleep cannot cure. It is the fatigue of waking up after a full night's rest and still feeling heavy. It is the subtle, constant gravitational pull in your chest that makes simple tasks feel like climbing a mountain. You function, you work, you smile when required, but beneath the surface, there is a drain, a silent, invisible siphon sucking your vitality away. This phenomenon is what we call the emotional black hole. In astrophysics, a black hole is a region of space where gravity is so strong that nothing, not even light, can escape. In psychology, an emotional black hole operates much the same way. It is formed by the accumulation of unspoken grief, the heavy, dense matter of unprocessed emotions, suppressed traumas, and unwept tears that we have pushed down into the basement of our subconscious. We think that by ignoring these feelings, we are starving them, but the truth is the opposite. By ignoring them, we are feeding them. The energy required to keep these emotions suppressed is immense. And it is this constant, unconscious expenditure of energy that leaves you feeling perpetually depleted. We often misunderstand grief. We think grief is reserved only for the death of a loved one. But the grief that creates the black hole is often far more subtle and pervasive. It is the grief for the version of yourself you had to sacrifice to survive. It is the grief for a dream that quietly withered away. It is the grief for a relationship that didn't end in a funeral, but in a slow, cold drift. It is the mourning of your own innocence, or the sadness of not being seen for who you truly are. Because society does not give us a ritual to mourn these invisible losses. We swallow them, we push them down, we tell ourselves to move on and be strong. But the body keeps the score. The black hole grows denser with every swallowed tear and every silenced truth. Today, we are going to stop running from the gravity. We are going to turn the ship around and face the dark star at the center of your universe. We will not do this to be destroyed, but to be liberated. We will walk through the 4 Zen steps to process this unspoken grief. We will use the ancient power of karuna, compassion, to bring light into the singularity. You will learn that the only way out of the darkness is not around it, but through it. You are safe here. You are not broken. You are simply carrying a weight that is ready to be set down. Part 2. The Anatomy of Suppression. Why we hide. To heal the emotional black hole, we must first understand how it was built. No one is born with a black hole in their chest. It is a structure we built, brick by brick, out of necessity. This is the anatomy of suppression. From a very young age, most of us were taught that certain emotions were dangerous or inconvenient. We learned that anger was bad, that sadness was weak, and that vulnerability was a liability. When we expressed these big, raw feelings, we might have been met with rejection, punishment, or, perhaps most painful of all, indifference. To survive, to be loved, to fit in, we developed a brilliant survival strategy: suppression. We learned to construct a dam. Every time a wave of pain rose up, we built the wall higher. We became masters of the "I'm fine" mask. We mistakenly believe that suppression is a form of strength. We think, if I don't look at it, it doesn't exist. But this is the great illusion of the ego. In the physical world, if you bury a seed, it grows. In the emotional world, if you bury a trauma, it metastasizes. The emotions you push down do not vanish. They descend into the shadow, the unconscious part of your psyche. There, in the dark, stripped of the light of awareness, they ferment. They transform from simple sadness into chronic depression, from simple anger into cynical resentment, from simple fear into paralyzing anxiety. The physics of suppression dictates that what you resist persists. Imagine trying to hold a large, air-filled beach ball underwater. It takes constant, active muscular effort to keep it submerged. If you relax for even a second, it bursts to the surface with violence. This is your life. The exhaustion you feel is the muscular effort of your psyche trying to hold 20 years of beach balls underwater. The black hole is not an empty space, it is a pressurized container. We must approach this realization not with shame, but with deep understanding. You suppressed your grief because, at one point in your life, it was the only way you knew how to survive. It was an act of self-protection. But the war is over. You are no longer that helpless child who needed to hide their heart to be safe. You are an adult now, capable of handling the truth. The walls you built to keep the pain out are now keeping the joy out. To dismantle the black hole, we must stop viewing our grief as an enemy to be jailed, and start viewing it as an exile waiting to return home. Part 3. Step 1. The courage to look, naming the ghost. The first step in filling the black hole with light is the most terrifying and the most simple: the courage to look. For years, perhaps decades, your entire psychological machinery has been designed to avert its gaze. We distract ourselves with work, with screens, with substances, with noise, anything to avoid the silence where the ghosts live. Step 1 is the practice of radical awareness. It is the decision to stop the car, turn off the engine, and look at the check engine light that has been blinking for years. In Zen, we say, you cannot leave a place you have never arrived at. You cannot heal a pain you refuse to acknowledge. This step involves a specific technique, naming the ghost. Unspoken grief thrives in ambiguity. It is a shapeless, looming fog of bad feelings. As long as it remains nameless, it remains a monster. But when you name it, you reduce it to something manageable. You strip it of its supernatural power. Sit in the silence. Let the heavy feeling rise. Instead of pushing it away, lean in and ask, "What are you?" Do not settle for the surface answer like, "I'm stressed." Go deeper. Ask again, "What is the grief beneath the stress?" You might find answers that surprise you. I am grieving the loss of the artist I wanted to be. I am grieving the love I never received from my father. I am grieving the trust I lost in my last relationship. I am grieving the years I wasted trying to please others. Speak these truths. Say them out loud, or write them down. The moment you say, "I am sad because I feel lonely," you have performed magic. You have pulled the emotion out of the dark shadow and placed it under the light of consciousness. You are no longer a depressed person. You are a person experiencing sadness. This separation, this shift from being the darkness to observing the darkness, is the first dawn of healing. The ghost has been seen. It is no longer a black hole, it is simply a wound. And wounds, unlike black holes, can be healed. Part 4. Step 2. The Karuna embrace, sitting with the child. Once the ghost has been named, the instinct is to try to fix it immediately. We want to analyze it, solve it, and make it go away so we can get back to being productive. This is the intellect trying to do the work of the heart. It will not work. Logic cannot heal a wound that was not created by logic. Step 2 is the Karuna embrace. Karuna is the Sanskrit word for compassion, but it means something deeper than pity. It translates to the quivering of the heart in response to pain. It is the active desire to alleviate suffering through presence and warmth. Imagine that your grief is not a demon, but a small, terrified child who has been locked in a basement for 20 years. This child is crying, screaming, and banging on the door. For years, you have been standing on the other side of the door, yelling, "Shut up, be quiet, I'm trying to work." That is how we typically treat our pain. We judge it, we hate it. Step 2 requires you to unlock the door, walk down the stairs, and sit on the floor next to that weeping child. You do not try to stop the child from crying. You do not offer platitudes like, "It will be okay." You simply offer your presence. This is the technique of sitting with the child. You say to the grief, "I see you. I am here. You are allowed to be sad. You are allowed to be angry. I am not leaving you again." This is the hardest thing you will ever do, because the child's pain will feel overwhelming. You will feel the urge to run. But you must stay. You must hold the space. This is the alchemy of Karuna. When grief is met with hostility, it hardens into trauma. When grief is met with unconditional love and presence, it softens into flow. It turns back into water. By holding your own pain with the same tenderness you would offer a crying infant, you change the fundamental nature of the relationship. You are no longer the victim of the black hole. You are the mother or father of your own internal world. You are providing the safety that was missing when the wound was created. This embrace is the beginning of the reintegration, where the exiled parts of you are finally welcomed back to the table. Part 5. Step 3. The somatic release. The body keeps the score. We have named the ghost, and we have sat with the child. Now, we must address the vessel that holds this pain. Your physical body. We often make the mistake of thinking grief is purely a mental event, a sad story in our heads. But grief is a physiological event. It is dense, heavy energy. When we suppress trauma, we do not just hide it in our minds, we lock it in our muscles, our fascia, our gut, and our breath. The body keeps the score. The emotional black hole is often felt as a tightness in the throat, a crushing weight on the chest, or a chronic tension in the shoulders that no massage can fix. This is stuck energy, the physical residue of the flight or fight response that was never allowed to complete its cycle. Step 3 is the somatic release. It is the understanding that you cannot think your way out of a feeling. You must feel your way out of it. You must provide a physical exit route for the energy that has been trapped for decades. The intellect is useful for understanding the past, but only the body can release it in the present. This release begins with the breath, but not just any breath. It involves the exhale of surrender. Most of us breathe shallowly, high in the chest, mimicking a state of constant anxiety. To release grief, you must breathe into the belly, into the very center of the black hole. Imagine the breath as a broom, sweeping the corners of your internal house. As you exhale, you must consciously let go of the muscular armor you have built around your heart. You visualize the dark, heavy smoke of grief leaving your body with the air. This process often triggers a biological release mechanism: tears. In our culture, we apologize for crying. We wipe our eyes and say, "I'm sorry, I'm being emotional." This is a violence against nature. Tears are not a sign of weakness, they are a biological reset button. The chemical composition of emotional tears is different from reflex tears. They literally carry stress hormones out of the body. When you cry, you are not breaking down, you are breaking open. You are physically dismantling the black hole. Allow your body to shake if it needs to shake. Allow a sound to escape your throat if it needs to be heard. This is not drama, this is physics. Energy cannot be destroyed, but it must be moved. If you do not move it, it will move you, from the inside out, in the form of disease or exhaustion. By granting your body permission to express what your mind has suppressed, you unclog the emotional arteries. You will find that after the storm of the release, there is a profound, spacious silence. That silence is not emptiness, it is the return of your vitality. Part 6. Step 4. The transformation. No mud. No lotus. Once the heavy energy has been released, you are left with a clean, open space, but the memory of the pain remains. What do we do with the scars? Step 4 is the transformation. This is the stage where we move from healing the wound to finding wisdom in the scar. We turn to the profound Zen teaching of Thich Nhat Hanh. No mud. No lotus. The lotus flower is a symbol of enlightenment and purity. Yet it can only grow in the thickest, foulest mud. Without the mud, the lotus dies. The mud is not an enemy of the flower, it is the necessary nutrient. Your grief, your trauma, your heartbreak, this is your mud. It is dark, it is messy, and it is painful, but it is also the nutrient-rich soil from which your deepest wisdom and compassion will grow. Transformation is the act of reframing. We stop asking the victim's question, "Why did this happen to me?" And we start asking the alchemist's question, "What has this pain given me?" This is not to say that the trauma was good, or that you deserved it. It is to say that you have the power to alchemize the lead of your suffering into the gold of your character. Perhaps the loneliness you felt has given you a profound capacity to cherish connection. Perhaps the betrayal you suffered has taught you the immense value of integrity. Perhaps your grief has cracked your heart open so wide that you can now feel the suffering of others in a way you never could before. This is the gift of the black hole. It strips away the superficial layers of the ego and forces you to confront the depths of the human experience. When you look at your pain through this lens, you realize that your suffering has made you a deeper person. It has given you gravity. Not the gravity that destroys, but the gravity that grounds. You become a person of substance. You are no longer afraid of the dark because you have navigated it. You have become a guide for others. This is the ultimate purpose of Karuna: to use your own healed wounds as a map for those who are still lost in the dark. The mud has served its purpose. The lotus has bloomed. Part 7. The Kintsugi Heart. The Beauty of the Crack. We arrive now at the state of integration. You have looked at the grief, held it, released it, and transformed it. Who are you now? You are not the person you were before the pain. You can never go back to that innocence. And you should not want to. You have evolved. We find the perfect metaphor in the Japanese art of kintsugi. When a precious ceramic bowl breaks, the master craftsman does not throw it away. Nor does he try to hide the cracks with invisible glue to pretend the break never happened. Instead, he rejoins the broken pieces with a lacquer mixed with powdered gold. The cracks are highlighted, illuminated, and honored. The bowl becomes more beautiful, more valuable, and stronger because it has been broken. This is the kintsugi heart. Your heart has been broken by life. That is a fact, but you have repaired it with the gold of awareness, compassion, and resilience. The lines where you were broken are now the lines where you are strongest. This is the concept of anti-fragility. You are not just resilient, bouncing back to where you were. You are anti-fragile, becoming better because of the shock. The modern world tells us to hide our flaws, to present a curated, perfect image, but the kintsugi heart wears its history with dignity. You walk into the world not as a fragile, untouched vessel, but as a work of art defined by its golden seams. These seams are the evidence of your survival. They are the proof that you faced the black hole and returned. This state brings a profound emotional depth. You are no longer easily shaken by the trivial dramas of daily life because you have survived the real storm. You have a quiet, grounded presence that others can feel. You become a safe harbor for others. Not because you are perfect, but because you are whole. You realize that wholeness does not mean unbroken. Wholeness means integrating the broken pieces into a new, stronger design. The light does not just shine on you, it shines through the cracks. Part 8 Final Echoes. You are not broken. We have journeyed into the center of the emotional black hole and found our way back to the light. You have learned that the exhaustion you feel is not a sign of failure, but a sign of carrying a heavy, invisible load that is ready to be set down. You now possess the 4 Zen steps to process unspoken grief. First, the courage to look, naming the ghost and dragging it into the light. Second, the karuna embrace, sitting with the inner child and offering presence instead of judgment. Third, the somatic release, using the breath and body to discharge the stuck energy. Fourth, the transformation, seeing the mud as the necessary soil for your lotus. Remember this fundamental truth. You are not a project to be fixed. You are not broken goods. You are a human being experiencing the full, devastating, and beautiful spectrum of life. The grief you carry is simply love with nowhere to go. By turning inward, you give that love a destination: yourself. The black hole loses its power the moment you stop running from it. The gravity that once crushed you now becomes the gravity that centers you. You are solid. You are real. You are kintsugi. Embrace this final challenge today. Do not try to heal everything at once. Just take the first step. Find 5 minutes of absolute silence. Close your eyes. Place your hand on your heart. And ask the question: what is the grief I have been carrying? Whatever answer arises, even if it is just a single tear, welcome it. Sit with it. Be the gold that fills the crack. Thank you for walking this path with echoes of life. If this journey into healing resonated with your spirit, subscribe to our channel and join our community of compassionate hearts. We are dedicated to applying ancient wisdom to heal modern wounds. Like this video to help the algorithm share this lifeline with others who are silently struggling in their own black holes. And finally, share this video with someone who needs to know that their pain is valid. And they are not alone. Until our next lesson on healing and connection, may you be gentle with your heart, and may your cracks be filled with gold.